In this lecture, I'll discuss the basics of using a Linux operating system via the command line. In part 1 of this lecture, I'm going to discuss command line operation, introduce paths in the file system, discuss the file system hierarchy, talk about the contents of the root directory, give an overview of several top-level directories, briefly discuss configuration files, and introduce the concept of man pages. Now in Linux, the command line is the older type of interface, user interface, to the system. It is a text mode interface that predates the development of graphical user interfaces, or GUIs. The command line uses the keyboard exclusively. In general, there is no use of the mouse. And it works by having you type in a command, followed by any arguments to that command, and then pressing enter. The command runs, and if there are any results to be displayed, the result of the command is displayed below where you entered the command. At all times, the command shell, or the program that processes the commands that you're entering, is in something called a working directory. That working directory is a location on the file system in which any file that you create by default will be placed, and you can open files by default without having to give any kind of path information for them. You can figure out what the current working directory is by using the pwd or print working directory command. You can change directories using the command cd. Running the command cd with no arguments will take you to your home directory. And you can list the contents of any directory with the ls command. It's typical that someone who's been using Linux for some time will compulsively issue the ls command every time the cd command is used, so that you can maintain some kind of awareness about how the file system is structured. Paths in the file system can be given in one of two ways. They can be given as an absolute path, meaning that they have a leading slash, such as /etc/inittab or /opt/condor/bin. Relative paths, on the other hand, are relative to whatever current working directory the shell is in. Thus, a relative path myfile.c is going to refer to a file named myfile.c located in the current working directory. The path tests/final/p_allops is going to refer to a file that is in the final subdirectory of a tests directory that can be found in the current working directory. There are also some special relative path name components that can be used. A single period, a single dot, references the current working directory. Two periods, or two dots, references the parent directory. Thus, the path /foo/dot/bar means go up one directory from the current working directory, then go down into its subdirectory foo and access a file called bar. Notice that the single dot alone as part of a directory path generally has no effect, because it refers to the current directory. Now, all directories on a Unix system are organized according to the file system hierarchy, and there is a specification available for the file system hierarchy which different distributions follow to different levels, and the standards get interpreted a bit between systems and distributions. In any case, however, the root directory of a file system is located at a path consisting of a single /, and you can change to the root directory by running cd and then as the argument to cd just a single /. And in this screenshot we can see we're on a system. I've run cd/ and then run ls to look at the contents of the root directory. There are a number of top-level directories that are fairly standard inside the root directory on a normal Linux system. These include /bin, which is where the minimum set of programs needed to work with the system is located, /dev, which contains entries corresponding to hardware devices on the system, /etc, which contains the system-level configuration files, /opt, which contains optional software typically added by the system administrator, /usr, often pronounced /user, which contains software that ships with the Linux distribution, /var, which contains rapidly changing files such as log files, /lib, which contains system libraries used by other programs, /media, into which automatic mounting systems will mount removable drives and devices, /mnt, often read as /mount, which is where the system administrator can manually mount removable devices or network shares, /root, not to be confused with the root directory, is actually the home directory for the superuser or root user. /sbin contains superuser binaries, or programs that are intended to be run only by the system administrator. And /temp is where temporary files are typically stored. Now, as mentioned a moment ago, system-wide configuration files generally go in /etc. Two important examples of files in /etc include /etc/init tab, which sets the default run level, or whether the system is going to boot into text mode or graphical mode, and /etc/fstab, which contains the file system table, indicating to the kernel where to find different file systems that need to be mounted at boot time. Configuration files in general on Linux can be edited with a text editor. On a pure command line system, this might be the VI text editor. VI is the one text editor that is generally expected to be present on any Unix system. If you need help on a command or some configuration file within the system, there is a built-in help facility called man pages or manual pages. Man pages allow you to get help on particular commands and other features of the system simply by typing man, a space, and then the command or feature on which you would like to get help. To navigate through a man page, you can use the up and down arrow keys and then use the Q key to exit the manual facility. In the next part of the lecture, I'll discuss file permissions and other basic issues related to running a Linux system.